Hey everyone, I have read your discussion boards about metacognition and the affective learning domain and appreciate your thoughtfulness in your approach to this discussion board. I think it is really important for us to think about our teaching methodology and strategies in allowing students to go through the cognitive and psychomotor domains. They're the ones that tend to lend themselves to easy teaching. We know that cognitive is the understanding and the psychomotor is the practicing and the hands-on stuff. Nursing is very much, I understand what I'm learning and I can show you that I'm learning it. One of the areas that we have found over decades of studying how we teach students is that we often mitigate or marginalize the value of thinking about our thinking and self-reflection on the process. So I really appreciate your willingness to go back and think about how the affective domain has been accessed through self-reflection and the value of that as a learner and as an educator. I was so pleased to see that many of you took that self-reflection outside the learning context of your classwork and really applied it to your practice behaviors, to your engagement in your professional roles. And we do see that the affective learning domain really does cross-sect all areas of our life. And it's important that we do think about our thinking and we think about our beliefs about things. Your classmate, Pamela, did a really nice job of kind of putting things in a nutshell from what this looks like from an academic perspective, but tying it into a Christian worldview. Pamela wrote that the educational model of self-reflection has been intertwined throughout the nursing graduate level courses at Liberty University. The ability to obtain knowledge and develop an inner perspective continues to be important topics in the nursing educational process. Ralph Waldo Emerson reminds us that if we are to accomplish anything excellent, we must listen to the whispers that are heard when we are alone. The practice of self-reflection is a valuable process for many aspects of life. Christ followers are directed to test and examine our ways, as stated in Lamentations 3, verse 40. Upon this examination, we as Christians are to return to the Lord. This process of self-reflection becomes more significant as we grow and mature spiritually in our Christian faith. When self-reflection is purposeful, the process is an instrument that allows us to gain self-knowledge and insight. This process fosters learning by linking personal insights with practice, which helps to establish the importance of knowledge gained. Self-reflection promotes an evaluation process of self, and using the affective learning domain connects our humanity with our nursing practice. I so appreciate Pamela's thoughtful approach to really synthesizing the nuts and bolts of what the affective learning domain provides and how that relates to the Christian worldview that we have as Christian nurse educators. So just from a general feedback, make sure that when you are placing things in a discussion board that you go back and make sure that it is formatted as you're intended. Don't get so tangled up in every little detail of APA. You don't have to use headings. We do want your references should appear to be in APA formatting. The big thing with copying and pasting from Word is sometimes it creates significant fragments of your work. So make sure you just go in and you backspace all the extra spacing so at least it's readable. A few misalignments is not a big deal, but when the whole thing is misaligned, it makes it really hard to read for your peers and for me. Next week, you have 2 assignments due. Your discussion board, your second discussion board, is going to be on the understanding fair use, copyright laws, and the TEACH Act. You're going to feel really tangled up with sorting out what these 3 things mean. My encouragement would be just use the blank sheet of a paper and do 3 columns of this is fair use, this is copyright, and this is a TEACH Act, and just do a brief summary for yourself of, and what are all of these things about? What are the nuances? How are they different? And really sit back and think, okay, which one of these would be most appropriate to have in place to facilitate access for educators to resources without violating copyright laws, without violating infringements that people have on proprietary information? How can we as educators get full access to as many sources and as many references as possible without violating the efforts and the hard work of the work's authors? And that really is the concept behind this assignment. It is not something that many educators pay attention to. So many of you will be looking through these 3 concepts and think, wow, I have never heard about this. It's important for you to hear about this because from a legal standpoint, educators are held to a higher standing and we are required to provide references and honor copyrighted materials. And when you're in the classroom and you find something really exciting on the internet and you hit click print, you may invariably be violating a copyright law. You may invariably be violating patented information, and you need to know that I didn't know is not going to be an excuse. So just the idea behind this assignment is to heighten your awareness. Next part of your assignment is your portfolio. The portfolio process is a creative process. It's going to be uniquely yours. Spend time playing with the portfolio before you start dropping things into it. Be thoughtful about the design and the layout. I want you to approach your portfolio as if you're going to copy and click and create a link to your portfolio and send it to a potential employer or send it to a promotion committee that you want them to consider you for promotion in an academic setting. You want this to be the best of you. You want it to be warm and friendly and personable and crisp and professional. That's a lot of things you want it to be, which means you're going to have to spend a little bit of time. The good thing is, if you're sick and tired of writing papers, this is a chance not to have to write a paper. Have fun with it. Make it about you. Your first part is part one, which goes over your, I think it is, yep, it's your professional expertise and your teaching philosophy. These are quick paragraphs that are a summary of what of who you are and what you're about. You want to make sure that you connect the NLN core competencies. Your rubric and instructions tell you how to do that, and you also want to make sure that that you use the tool appropriately so that I know which part is which. Your resume or CV, if you have an existing resume or CV, that's great to use. Make sure you clean it up and you polish it before you submit it. Make sure that the pieces that are required to be on your CV are on your CV. Okay, let me think if there's anything else. Oh, and when you finish your portfolio, make sure you submit it in the assignment link in Blackboard. There is a YouTube video that shows you how to do this. Please don't forget to do this. Failure to submit it through Blackboard prevents me from being able to actually look at it and grade it. And without doing that, your assignment will have to be corrected, and then your work will be applied to the late policy if I can't grade it when it's due next Monday or next Sunday evening. Okay, I think that's it. Know that I'm here. If you have questions or concerns, touch base. I do want you to start thinking about your integrative literature review, start thinking about the topics that you're interested in. I'll remind you that that ILR is about your role as a nurse educator, or the role of a nurse educator. So be thoughtful about that approach. Touch base with questions or concerns. Remember to use the Ask the Professor link. For general questions, the where can I find, or what do we do, or what do you mean by this kind of thing. For personal things, questions, or things that are specific to you, feel free to email me. I'm happy to reply to both. I hope you guys have a great week. I'll look forward to seeing your work soon. Take care.